Ebru Primetime News on this last Saturday of September 2020. The 26th of September begins right now. Good evening and welcome aboard. My name is Kenneth. Kazungu, our sign language interpreter for tonight, is Joyce Werimo. In the recent past, the country has been experiencing a wave of realignments within the political class, but not the change you would expect, as all those in the race to succeed President Kenyatta in 2022 are now scrambling for the hustler tag in efforts to endear themselves to the masses. So how have the masses, or should the masses, read this phenomenon?
Walisema hustler hatakuja. Nimekuja sijakuja.
The country's latest political phenomenon.
Hebu tuwaonyeshe hustler kwa area.
And those in the political class are scrambling to have a piece of the hustler's tag.
Sinyawa alikuwa hustler. Na Kibaki je? Na Jomo Kenyatta je? Kwa hivyo wana marais mahustler tu.
As the country gears up for the 2022 race to succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Na mimi vile unaviona Raila mtoto wa Raila. Mtoto wa Oginga, mtoto mwana wa Odinga, Odinga mwana wa Raila. Na wote walikuwa ni watu maskini.
So hard is the battle for the high-stakes phenomenon that some politicians are even accusing the other of copying what they call their strategies.
Juzi nikasema wakifunga tutafungua, nikaongea Sheng. Juzi niliona hata yeye anajaribu kuongea Sheng vibaya sana. Ana copy Mutua. Stop copying Mutua.
From all indications, the hustler versus dynasty narrative is seemingly resonating with the 18 to 35-year-old population, which also happens to be the largest voting bloc according to the 2019 census numbers and the 2017 IEBC register of voters.
Niko kamili. Je, na wewe uko vipi? Sisi hapa Kenya tutaenda vipi tukienda mbele? Mimi naomba tushikane, tuwe kitu kimoja kama mbogi moja, ndio Kenya iende mbele.
And politicians are clearly having a field day with the candidate that manages to position the narrative the best way, expected to reap big in the upcoming general elections.
It is not the big versus the small. It is not the rich versus the poor. It is everybody's hustle counts, irrespective of the size.
Ati huku kuna mzae amechapa ati na anadai yeye ni youth. Tangu lini?
Niaje wase, mko vipi? Nimefikisha tuka 60. Wale walikuwa wakisema mimi ni mzae, mlisikia wapi?
Okay, wasikuje na tactic asema ati hustle, wajite kila mtu hustle ndio tuwapatie kura. For instance, okay, kusema tu kweli, hiyo hustle wakuje na tactic nyingine. Sio kujita hustle kila mtu ndio tutangusha roho tuwapatie kura. No, saizi wakija tumerevuka.
We took the question to the common mwananchi who remain divided over the use of the hustler tag.
Wakenya tukue macho kwa sababu hakuna kitu watatufanyia. Ile kitu ya muhimu kwa Mkenya uangalie yule mtu ako na maono ya kuenda mbele, yule mtu anasafanya kazi, huyo ndio unaweza pigia kura. Wengine kama sasa hivi mtu anajipea majina mingi sana. Kuna wengine wanajiita hustler. Na ukweli tunajua wengine wametoka kazi ya hustler mpaka si hata wakifika mahali wako sasa hivi.
But even with the diverse opinions, one thing stands. The hustler narrative will be a big factor in the upcoming general election. All right, to help us understand this, the hustler and the hustled narrative, I earlier on spoke with political commentator Maur Bwanamaka all the way in Tana River County, where I started by asking him why he thinks there is this scramble for the hustler tag.
We find ourselves in a situation whereby politicians want to endear themselves to the people. And one way of endearing yourself to the people, particularly politicians who do not have any convictions or are not backed by serious political organizations, they will always come up with acronyms, identities, perceptions, to reach out to the people, individually as themselves. And that's why now there has all this, the struggle, the scramble for every politician to identify himself or herself in this or that, to have a niche of that market. However, politics is a different ballgame. It plays very differently. But unfortunately, in Kenya, the strangest thing is that the politics is being played as business.
Okay, but what do you think, Bonamaka? Clearly, as you have witnessed in the recent past, the political temperatures have started rising. And very many Kenyans, actually very many people seem to be warming up to this hustler narrative. They say that in as much as, for example, the deputy president, who is the country's second in command, he still endears to them, but the mere fact that he's not in the dynasty as he's a hustler like one of them. So what do you think this narrative is gaining traction among young Kenyans today?
My brother, you and I are very young, and I am very sure that both of us were born after independence of this country. So everything we might be saying or quote that happened prior to independence is by virtue of what we had or what we studied. But I will still have the authority and the audacity to actually take ourselves to the historical trajectory and find out how did we start, we as Kenya, under what framework of perception did we establish this country. We established a framework of lies whereby people were ended up loaded over them characters, persons who were said to be freedom fighters, independence fighters, our strugglers, the ones who actually were delivering independence to our fathers per se. But in reality, when you dig deeper, when you interrogate, when you critique to establish if indeed these characters who are said to have been the founding fathers of this country, were they truly independent leaders? Were they truly independent heroes? Were they truly freedom fighters? For example, as we have cited the deputy president, now he's saying he's not a party to the dynasty phenomenon, or is not even party to the dynasty trajectory. Fine, I will ask you, you yourself did not participate in the second liberation of this country. Now you come and tell us that, no, me, I'm a hustler, me, I am ordinary. Yes, we know you are not in that line of dynasties that were developed by the colonialists to rule over us, but you have been heavily supportive of their efforts. So today, for example, I find it ridiculous in this country.
Yeah, but very many people would ask now, this is not the first time politicians are coming to us, the youth, the 18 to 35 year population, because according to the census numbers and according to the IBC register of voters, we have the largest voting constituency. Now, why do we always find ourselves in this vicious cycle of being used as voting machines, and how do we get out of it, Bonamaka?
Yeah, fantastic. We find ourselves in that situation because majority of us, we have been made zombies and stupid deliberately by the system that is actually perpetuated by the same guys who, when they want us, they come down and they now pretend to be like us, only to fool us for some time. And after we give them what they want, they proceed on to do. For example, I will tell you one thing. These guys, they make sure that they lower the voting age to 18 years. And in fact, even the voting age of the president was lowered from 35 years to 18 years. You tell me in your own full sense, how possible, how easy is it of somebody of 18, 19, 20, even 25 to run for president in this country? Does it make any sense? That is the age of somebody who is supposed to be running helter-skelter to look for scholarships and colleges to pursue further studies. But here they're telling you that you can run for president. That's a lie. Those are the lies that are put on the constitution to actually to quote and conceive us, to convince us that we have this right. Fantastic. Now we leave at that. Then you lower the voting age from 21 years to 18 years so that you tap on this huge bracket of young people. These young people, whenever you call them to their rally and you tell them that there are no jobs in this country, of course, they will exclaim and confirm there are no jobs. Because what happens with these politicians who are in government, they will make sure they do whatever they can do to siphon money out of government, used to come and confuse people on the grassroots. Then they get voted back again, as we always do, because they meet our small, ambitions, our small interests, our myopic desires.
So how do we get ourselves out of that cycle as the young people in Kenya today? Because even when you look at the optics, when these politicians come with the hustler narrative, most often than not, they are addressing us from the sunroofs of their top-of-the-range vehicles. They're surrounded with bodyguards, whereas we, who were supposed to be their fellow hustlers, are supposedly even hungry, not even having something to eat for that particular day. So how do we effectively get ourselves out of this hole that, we, as you have said, we have put ourselves in?
Well, how we go about it is that, let me tell you, and I think we can agree over this, that today majority, not even the majority, even our old people have become heavily educated. Yeah, not as much as they have degrees or they have whatever they have, but the levels of know-how have increased heavily. If you are going to get an antivirus that we can be able to use to detoxify Kenyans from this ethnic bug, from this ethnic virus, to make Kenyans to start thinking as one tribe of Kenyans that has a responsibility to building this country, that has a responsibility to ensure that this country progress as is required, that believe they are stakeholders, owners of this country, fine, this thing will work.
Movement Party has suspended Kilifi North MP Owen Baya from the party's top decision-making organ for his alleged dalliance with Deputy President William Ruto's Tanga Tanga movement. The suspension of Baya was in the offing as he has in the recent past expressed frustration with the leadership of the Orange Party.
Kama hajui sisi ni maskini, aje hapa Kilifi, nimpeleke Ganze, nimpeleke Magarini, nimpeleke Bamba, nimpeleke kule Tana River ambao kila wakati watu wanamalizwa kule na floods, aone umaskini, manake yeye katika maisha yake amezaliwa katika pesa, hajui nini umaskini.
In the recent past, Baya has been growing bolder by the day, and it was just a matter of time before the party took action on him.
Raila Odinga ndiye anakaa on behalf of Pwani. Leo Raila Odinga hawezi kuongea kuhusu mambo ya port ya Mombasa kwa sababu anajengewa port kule Kisumu.
Baya has been in the forefront of advocating for a homegrown, coastal-based political party, a proposal that may have rubbed the ODM fathers the wrong way.
Lakini Joho anakaa anaangalia port inaenda, haezi ongea kwa sababu Raila Odinga amemwambia nyamaza usiongee. Raila Odinga amemcloud Joho, haezi fikiria kisawa sawa. Kila region inajipanga kisiasa wenyewe. Yeye anasema sisi tunajipanga, lakini yeye yuko mahali ambapo anajua hata yeye hana sauti ya kutetea Mpwani.
As if that was not enough, the MP took the deputy party leader, Mombasa Governor Ali Hassan Joho, and the party leader Raila Odinga head-on over the stand on revenue allocation stalemate that was resolved a week ago.
Leo anaweza shikana na mtu ambaye anasema watu wakubali ile formula pale Senate ya kutupokonya sisi mabilioni ya pesa. Na wakubaliane kwamba ni sawa boss, hiyo umesema ni sawa sawa. Sasa hii Pwani kweli itaendelea? Kweli umaskini utatoka kama tunasema hatuko maskini? You have to admit first that you're poor for you to get out of poverty.
But the last straw that may have broken the camel's back was his visit to the current residence of Deputy President William Ruto. In the visit, Baya accompanied the coastal leaders who were fronting for Jamal Faisal Bader, a candidate for the Msambweni by-election, who was not vying with an ODM ticket. In suspending Baya as a member of the National Executive Committee and as the Deputy Organizing Secretary, ODM said that his public utterances and conduct cast doubt on his commitment to the party.
The NEC has resolved to suspend the Honorable Owen Baya, Member of Parliament for Kilifi North constituency, from the membership of this critical organ and from his position as the Deputy Organizing Secretary of the party, given his recent public utterances and conduct that have cast doubt on his commitment to this party and its objectives.
Baya may rest easy that ODM chose to give him a slap on the wrist by not outrightly expelling him from the party, but warning shots may have been fired that he needs to change. All right, now staying with politics within the coastal region, and a section of leaders in the coastal region are telling ODM Chief Raila Odinga to prepare for a bruising battle for the Msambweni parliamentary seat. The leaders, led by former Wiper Secretary General Hassan Umar, who is now a Deputy President William Ruto ally. The coastal region needs a reboot, and the battle from Msambweni will be a good place to start.
Lazima tumbwage Raila Msambweni. Msambweni ndo uwe mwanzo mpya wa masala ya pwani. We can redefine our political future with our victory in Msambweni. Sisi watu wa pwani hatuna haja kupitia Raila Odinga kunegotiate our destiny. We can talk about our destiny moja kwa moja. Mimi nitakuwa ndani ya hiyo serikali ya Ruto. Wengine watakuwa katika hiyo serikali ya Ruto. Mohamed Ali pia ametumia salamu zake. Na nakwambia miaka yetu yote nilisema hapa 26 years we have fought for public interest. We are not about to stop. Kwa hivyo sisi tutakuwa hapo. Kwa hivyo sisi tunataka kila mtu wa pwani, awe wa kabila yoyote, awe wa dini yoyote. Wakati wa vita vya Museveni na Rwanda kulikuwa na decisive battle of Kisangani. Wakati wa World War II kulikuwa na Battle of Barbarossa. Mshaisikia sio hiyo? Wakati wa hivi vita vya kuikomboa pwani kutakuwa na the Battle of Msambweni.
All right, to the country's COVID-19 caseload now, and a total of 164 people tested positive for the novel coronavirus from a pool of 2,872 samples. Now, this making the total number of infections within the country to 37,871. Of the positive cases, 140 are Kenyans and 24 are foreigners. Ultimately, or unfortunately, 7 people succumbed, while another 77 recovered from the coronavirus disease, bringing the total number of recoveries to 24,581. Elsewhere, 10 foreigners and 2 Kenyan drivers have been arrested along the Maralal-Opiroi Road in Samburu County for being in the country illegally. The foreigners of Ethiopian and Eritrean origin in 2 separate vehicles were traveling to South Africa through Nairobi and lacked their respective traveling documents.
Officers in Maralal-Opiroi town, while on their normal patrol duty, intercepted the 2 vehicles ferrying the foreigners, who included 8 men and 2 women. Confirming the incident, Samburu Central Deputy Sub-County Police Commander Abdikader Malicha, upon interrogation, said the foreigners who lacked their respective travel documents were en route to South Africa.
They comprise of Eritreans and Ethiopians, and they are destined en route to Nairobi. After interrogation also, they allege that their journey is up to South Africa. Kenya is just a transit. So the 2 drivers are arrested. Also the 2 motor vehicles detained at the police station. And the drivers also will be taken to court the next court day.
Residents in Samburu County have also been called upon to cooperate with the police and report any suspicion of foreigners in the country with invalid documents, as they pose a great risk to the security of the country.
The citizen of Samburu County, Samburu Central, Maralal, to pass the information to police when they see a suspicious motor vehicle or a suspicious person whom they suspect to be a foreigners, to the police for action.
The suspects are currently in lawful custody at Maralal Police Station, awaiting to be arraigned in court next week. Miliki Senya for Ebru TV.
Elsewhere, and senior government officials and politicians in the current and previous regimes stand to lose hundreds of acres of land that they allegedly illegally acquired in the troubled area of Ngati in Naivasha. The serving and retired officers used their influence and officers to acquire the land in Maela, an area that has recorded bloody land clashes for years now.
The revelations that senior government officials are going to lose in a major way came to light after a committee tasked with solving the land disputes compiled its findings. This is contained in a report by an ad hoc committee on Ngati Farm Alternative Dispute Resolution, which was appointed in October 2018 and has been seeking the way forward in resolving disputes around the vast land.
To those people that have felt shortchanged over time, and to that extent there's been recommendations to resurvey some of the land, reallocate, do affirmation for some of the existing land, and generally to bring everybody to a level where they feel that they are sufficiently either compensated or fairly looked into.
For years, 581 members of the land buying company have clashed over the subdivision of 16,708 acres in a dispute that first pitted them and members from the Maasai community, leading to a court case. In far-reaching recommendations, the report directed that over 8,000 acres of land be subdivided afresh, while hundreds of acres currently under farming be turned into forests. According to the Chief of Staff in Nakuru County, Njoroge Gishuhi, investigations have revealed that senior government officials illegally benefited from the land.
My humble request to our Ngati residents is to be patient, because there is a timeline. In every aspect, there is a timeline to achieve it and to implement. So I'm sure from here, we don't expect any acrimony or tensions in the ground.
Speaking after handing over the report, Gishuhi, who chaired the committee, said that the officers had been given a window of opportunity to return the land. In a move that will raise tension in the troubled area, Gishuhi added that fresh subdivision of over 8,000 acres should be done and land under farming be turned into a forest. He added that the former officials of the Ngati Land Buying Company should be investigated by the DCI and their property, which they acquired from sales of land, repossessed.
We've been given 2 weeks to start the process, and of course with the team of surveyors conjoined with the national government, within a month we should be able to finish that work.
On her part, the chief officer in charge of land, Judy Lea Waihenya, said that the process of fresh subdivision will start in 2 weeks' time. She noted that the issue of the Nakuru-Narok boundary, which neighbored the land in dispute, would also be addressed in the ongoing survey works. Maela MCA Gathariki Kamanu praised the ad hoc committee for coming up with solutions to the issue of land, which had for years caused tens of deaths. Naivasha Sub-County Commissioner Mutua Kisilu said that security agents were ready and keen to implement the recommendations of the report.
Ijapokuwa kuna wachache ambao hayo mapendekezo yatawadhuru, lakini kwa kiasi kikubwa jamii imefurahi kwamba mzozo huu sasa unaenda kufika kikomo. Nataka nimpongeze kwa dhati Mheshimiwa Gavana na kamati aliyoteua, kwa sababu walijituma sana kwa kazi hiyo, na ijapokuwa mimi ni mgeni, nimekuta walionitangulia wamefanya kazi ambayo kwa sasa hii jamii tunaona kwamba wataenda na kuishi kwa amani.
Brando Diambo, Ebru TV.
Right, let's go all the way to county number 24 now. And 3 weeks after 4 people were gunned down by 2 counties by suspected bandits, West Pokot and Elgeyo Marakwet county leaders have held a peace meeting along the border of the 2 counties. The leaders, led by county commissioners from both counties, affirmed that bandits will be shot dead if they continue perpetrating attacks and destabilizing the peace accord that was signed between the 2 communities at Chesogon.
West Pokot County Commissioner Polo Okilo, while addressing locals, said they managed to recover 5 guns which have been in the hands of bandits for the past 3 weeks. Since they started peace meetings a year ago, more than 150 guns have been surrendered, with the 2 communities opting to embrace peace. According to the commissioner, 41 cows have been stolen in the past 1 month and 37 cows have been recovered. Elgeyo Marakwet County Commissioner Dr. Ahmed Omar insisted that bandits will be nabbed either dead or alive, hence called on locals to identify bandits who are inhabiting in the community.
It is not penetratable.
West Pokot County Governor John Lonyangapuo said the bandits should be arrested and be put behind bars. Lonyangapuo urged those in possession of illegal firearms to surrender and replace them with pens and books.
Sisi viongozi wa West Pokot kuanzia mzee wa mtaa, wazee wote, chiefs wote, MCS, kuanzia mpaka mjumbe na hata senata wetu, gavana mimi mwenyewe tukasema lazima vitu ya wenyewe irudishwe.
Elgeyo Marakwet Governor Alex Tolgos said the two communities have made strides in keeping peace, and surrendering of illegal guns shows commitment in keeping peace.
Tumeongoza kaunti ambayo kuna sehemu zingine bunduki kama hii ambayo imetolewa hapa, watu wameona tu polisi wakiwa naye.
Sigor MP Peter Lochakapong said criminals would not be tolerated in the community and the community should be willing to surrender the bandits. The leaders maintained that bandits would be dealt with accordingly in order to maintain peace in the community.
Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta has directed Sports Cabinet Secretary Ambassador Amina Mohammed to ensure that all the pending stadia under renovation be completed and ready for commissioning by the end of December this year. President Kenyatta was speaking today after officially reopening the upgraded Nyayo National Stadium that had been closed for renovation since 2017. Our very own Davis Beria with more details on that presidential directive.
After waiting for more than 3 years, Nyayo Stadium is now ready to host sporting events.
And today, as we have been told, we stand in a stadium that is more fit for purpose and more suitable for our sporting heroes to showcase their excellence.
Nyayo Stadium, which was closed in 2017 for renovations, was partially reopened for Beyond Zero Half Marathon on March 8th and February 11th for former President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi's state funeral.
We are currently on the verge of completing the construction of the Jamhuri Sports, Leisure and Entertainment Park here in Nairobi, in addition to the upgrading of sporting facilities in Eldoret, Marsabit, Meru, Chuka, Kisumu, Nyeri, Makueni, Wanguru in Kirinyaga, and Kirigiti in Kiambu.
The first event to be hosted at the 45-seater stadium will be the Nairobi leg of Kipkeino Classic Continental Tour on October 3rd, where 30 countries have confirmed to send athletes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, in just over a week, this stadium will play host to the Kipkeino Classic, which will be the first ever World Athletics Continental Tour event to be held on the African continent. The event, named after our great hero and trailblazing Olympic champion Kipchoge Keino, will bring together elite athletes from all over the world to compete in various track and field events on Saturday, October 3rd of this year.
Nyayo Stadium was among the 5 facilities earmarked to host the 2018 African Nation Championship CHAN in January 2018, but Kenya lost the hosting rights due to the lack of venue readiness.
And so, as we have agreed, Waziri, we expect all these facilities to be ready for commissioning by the end of December this year.
President Kenyatta also pledged the government's commitment to ensuring that Kenya hosts the World Under-20 Championships and the World Safari Rally set for next year.
Ladies and gentlemen, looking forward towards 2021, we will continue to also work relentlessly to ensure that the World Under-20 Championship and the World Rally Championships, better known as the Safari Rally, scheduled to take place in Nairobi next year, will be held and be held successfully.
With Kenyans set to compete at the next month's elite-only London Marathon, President Kenyatta was quick to wish them well.
I also want to take this opportunity to wish our athletes the very best as they head out to the London Marathon, which is going to be held on the 4th of October 2020, led by our world marathon record holders, Eliud Kipchoge and Bridget Koskei, and I have no doubt that they will once again, like their colleagues in Doha, make us proud despite the challenges of having had no or little training due to COVID-19 restrictions.
Davis Mberia, Ebru Sports.
Now, that was not the only game that happened in the Premier League tonight, because we understand some two matches and the results are in, and Everton have hammered Crystal Palace 2-1, while Chelsea have drawn with West Bromwich Albion at 3-3 each team. And that is Ebru Primetime News on this last Saturday, the month of September 2020, the 26th of September. On behalf of the super amazing team that has helped put this bulletin together, thank you so much, Kenneth, for watching. My name is Kenneth Kazungu. Our sign language interpreter for tonight has been Joyce Werimo. Please continue to take care of yourself and one another. See you soon, and God bless.